Hi, my name is Jen and this is Unstoppable TV for forward-thinking, driven and ambitious entrepreneurial women and influencers. Thank you so much for joining us today. I have the pleasure of welcoming to the show Jane Willmott. Hi Jane, how are you?
Hi, I'm good, thank you.
Excellent. So you are a coach for entrepreneurs specialising in helping them make an impact whilst celebrating consistent 10K months, which I can imagine that we all want, don't we? Okay, so let's kick off. When did you actually start in business and what was your inspiration before starting?
Well, I actually started my first business 10 years ago now.
Amazing, okay.
I was 19 at the time.
Yeah.
And I started, well, a mixture of two reasons really. One, I had a young son at the time. And second of all, because I kind of sucked at being an employee.
Yes, I'm ready. I think I'm probably unemployable now, I must say. It's taken me a while, but I think I'm definitely there. Okay, excellent. So what age are your sons?
So my son is 9, he'll be 10 in September.
Yeah.
I have a daughter who's 8 and she'll be 9 in August. And then I have a little one who is 1 and she'll be 2 in July.
Oh, wonderful. Same as me, 3 beautiful babies. So tell me then, what was the defining moment, do you think, that you went, okay, can't be an employee anymore, not happening, I'm taking the leap? Can you remember that moment?
I'm not entirely sure it was a defining moment. It was kind of just a moment where I thought, you know what, I'm just going to give it a go. And overnight I decided to start a business and just kind of rolled with it, essentially. And then obviously I coach people now, and that's something that I started doing in 2013, so 5 years ago.
Awesome. So tell me, what was your first business?
So my first business was in event services.
Wonderful.
So it was decorating, planning, those types of things for people. And from there, just kind of grew. Managed to maybe do some things other people weren't doing at the time. And kind of grew. Got my feet on the ground there, so to speak. Learned kind of different skills and things, and then have grown into other things as a result.
When you were there, did you obviously at the beginning when you first grown a business, you are responsible for all of it. So were you doing photography and marketing your business yourself? Were you doing all of it on your own straight away? Yeah.
I mean, I was doing all on my own. My husband did help out with some certain things, and kind of 2 years into the business, he stopped working then, so he came into the business and he's been in the business with me ever since. But generally it was all done on my own. We weren't in a position where I could invest anything. It wasn't like I could raise any money to invest anything either. So it was either I did it or nobody did it.
100%. So you get on. So when you were growing that business then, did you, over the period of a few years or something, start to bring in some help and assistance there? Or did you just continue with you and your husband running the business? No,
it was important as it grew. We had other people come in. So obviously I would say for the first 18 months, any money that came into the business was reinvested anyway.
Yeah,
whether it was having somebody build a website because, I built the first one, and whether it was, marketing and things. So it was definitely a case of when you were growing to start bringing some people in, which is generally what you kind of got to do in every business, really.
Yeah, definitely. I think it's important, like, when you get to a certain stage, not being scared to go, right, now I need to hand this over to someone else. I think some people, especially me, and probably you, because you're a little bit of a perfectionist, is that same for you as well? Yeah, so perfectionism, like you want to make sure that it's done the way that you want it, and it can be a little bit scary at first, isn't it? Bringing that first person onto your team going, but are they going to do it right? But you have to trust the people that you're working with, don't you?
Yeah, I mean, I think there is an element of, being afraid that somebody's not going to be able to do it the same as you.
Yeah.
And you've got to accept that they won't be able to do it like exactly how you're going to do it, but as long as they've been trained well and you're kind of, giving them
and you're there
trust
for support.
Things. Exactly.
Yeah, absolutely. Excellent. So when did you then move into the coaching stuff, or was there some business in between as well? Or was it straight from that business into your full-time coaching?
No, it was pretty much straight from that one into the full-time coaching, which was in a couple of years, 5 years ago now.
Yeah.
And generally I kind of fell into it. I was doing it as, I suppose you could say, a bit of a hobby with people anyway.
Yeah.
And then I hated the business I had.
Oh, really?
It wasn't serving me in any type of way. And so I decided that, I was going to leave it all behind and follow that as my kind of number one business then.
Awesome. And the coaching then, how many women must you have worked for the last 5 years? It must be hundreds now. Coaching
I mean, I was quite privileged to be able to work with the people I've worked with. I generally work with people all over the world, so obviously it's cool that I get to meet people in all different places on earth, you know, whether it's the US or I've got clients in Nigeria.
The digital world is just incredible for that, isn't it? Just bringing everyone so much closer together. And now things like having a coaching call for an hour with someone in the States or Dubai or whatever, it's not a huge problem. No. Wi-Fi.
As long as you remember the time difference.
Yes, exactly. I still get messed up actually on that. I sometimes just have to Google, what is the time, PST time right now?
I've got all on my phone, like a whole list of all the different places that I've got clients, and
I love
figured it out from
You can figure it out from there, amazing. So tell me, what is the biggest lesson do you think that you have learned in business so far? You've been in business a long time on your own. What have the lessons been?
One of the biggest lessons I'd say is that actually one of the biggest roadblocks you'll ever come up against is yourself.
Yeah,
I think so many people, including myself, will always kind of think that they're searching for a strategy or they're searching for something like that being the problem, when actually 9 times out of 10 it will be something that we're doing or not doing or thinking or not thinking. So that would probably be one of my biggest lessons. I was definitely previously somebody who was kind of black and white in the sense of you just need a good marketing strategy and that's all. But I, you know, years of growth will tell me that that isn't true.
It's not just about that. There's loads of other little bits in the pockets, isn't there? Amazing. So one of your specialities is actually taking people to their first 10K and then making that a regular thing each month. So can you remember how it felt when you hit your first 10K in business?
Well, actually, I felt amazing, and then I quickly hit self-sabotage.
Yes, money block.
It threw up so much for me.
Yeah.
That actually, it was a bit of a, I was really excited about it, and then it threw up so much stuff and triggered me in so many different ways that it actually became a huge platform for growth, actually.
Good.
So it was exciting, but equally terrifying, and obviously triggered various different beliefs and things that I had at the time. So enabled me to actually, you know, work through them as well.
Yeah. Growing up for you, did you come from like a family background with money? I know that that's one of my money blocks, definitely came from. We had an abundance of love, 1,000,000%, but we didn't have loads of money. And especially, you know, £10,000 within a month would have been like winning the lottery. You know, it's huge. So when first 10K month came for me, that was a massive kind of panic, fear, and then the first initial thought is get rid of it because I'm not worthy, I don't deserve, and then the other one is, but I'm not going to let any of it go because I'm so scared that it never comes again. So I was fighting these two extreme emotions. So did you grow up with finance and abundance, or do you feel as if that might have played a little bit of a part in your blocks as well?
No, I mean, I definitely, I don't come from somewhere where it's certainly normal. I mean, most people don't necessarily see that in a year from you know, where I come from and things. And generally, my parents weren't necessarily completely broke, but my father had his own issues with money, so obviously that kind of played upon my beliefs, and some of them I wouldn't even kind of aware that I had until that moment happened. But definitely I didn't come from somewhere where there was money, or the working outside a factory is kind of a normal thing to do either. So it was definitely at that point for me, it brought up beliefs around my childhood kind of relationship with money, how I saw other people with it, and also what I thought other people might think of me.
Yeah, that is huge. We've been speaking about that quite a lot on Unstoppable TV, actually, is judgment. And being really concerned about what other people think and that they might say about you as well can be hurtful, but they've not even said it yet. Like, you've just imagined all of these scenarios, haven't you? And also I can remember thinking, because of people saying things like, you know, money's evil, you shouldn't wish for money, you shouldn't pray for money. It's not necessarily money is evil, it's sometimes what people then go on and do with money that can be good or bad. It's not money in itself. I actually think wanting to have more money is an amazing thing, because the amount of things that you can then go on and change is huge. For me, the system is, you know, if you've got money, you've got some power, you've got then an ability to create a platform, and from that platform, you can then create some sort of change. And that is the way that I think about it now. And now I don't have the guilt surrounding, you know, vast money. I believe that we should all want it, because in order to actually up level not only ourselves but the people that are surrounding and working with us too. So it's so interesting, isn't it, those money blocks? And I think people are like, what do you mean? If I had 10k, I would be like, whoa, party. There would be no money blocks. And I'm like, just wait, just wait till it comes. So I'd love to know, Jane, when you came up against those blocks, what did you begin to do to try and work through some of them?
Well, I didn't necessarily know what they were at the time. I was definitely one of the people that thought, hey, if you make that type of money, it's amazing and life will be wonderful. So I actually maybe only started to look at what blocks they could be in things when I noticed a pattern where I'd made the money and then were kind of self-sabotaging. So I was stopping taking action, or I was stopping working, those types of things. And when I started to explore the fact that money blocks and things, it was a case of, I did a lot of kind of journaling. It was also for me about changing how I felt about money and changing how I perceived and changing what I believed other people would think. So it was a lot of kind of asking for evidence as to whether any of it's true. Did I have proof for anything that I was thinking? Because I didn't have proof that people would think that I was any of those things. So a lot of it was self kind of questioning, I suppose. It was getting help from other people, obviously, but a lot of it was questioning myself, questioning my thoughts, which I think is a big one for people, not necessarily taking that thought as being truth.
Yes.
So it was a case of questioning it, and then choosing which beliefs I wanted instead, because I think that's a large part of it. It's not just understanding why they were there, it's also obviously letting go of it. So it was a case of letting go and making kind of peace with all those kind of things,
and replacing it with awesome, positive,
with something different.
Yeah, excellent, amazing. So tell me, in your opinion, what do you feel it takes and what do you need in place, do you think, to create these 10k months?
I think you've got to understand that there's something behind the 10k. I think for a lot of people it's like, oh yeah, 10k would be amazing, but if you don't really understand what you're doing it for, they're not necessarily going to take the action necessary anyway. So I think having an understanding of what 10k actually means for you, and what that looks like and what it would mean for you, but also stepping into a place where you make it completely non-negotiable. It can't just be half in, half out. People who hit those type of goals tend to be people who are 100% committed.
Yes.
And they're willing to understand that the person that they need to be to hit 10k isn't who they are today. Because if they were that person, they'd already be there, right?
You're right.
So a large part of it is understanding and being completely open to the growth and open to...
Which is scary, isn't it?
Open to questioning yourself and stepping into the person that you need to be, and just having that kind of complete non-negotiable, this is going to happen for me, and showing up and doing whatever it takes to get there.
Yeah, excellent. And what I find awesome about the work that you do is you are very much like, you don't need to have fancy marketing strategies in place. You don't need to have a website necessarily at the beginning. What do you think that people do need just for those initial steps and stages to start their own business, whether it be online or off?
Generally they're going to have an idea.
Yeah, absolutely. What is the thing? What is it you're selling?
They know what it is that they're going to be doing. And they really need to know who they're going to be speaking to as well. So kind of knowing, what they're doing, who they're speaking to is really important. They also need to understand who they need to be.
In order
to enable to attract those people in. And then I would say they also need to have a clear understanding of, even though you don't need a huge marketing strategy, you do need to be able to get in front of your ideal clients one way or another. So you have to have a plan where that's concerned to a certain degree, whether it's literally you just show up and kind of network, or whether it's that you have sales funnels. But you have to have an initial plan as to how the hell you're going to get in front of these people.
Awesome. So there we go. The 3 top tips is, what is the thing that you're going to do? Then you have to be thinking about your client or customer. Who is that person? And then can you speak their language? And then the third thing obviously is, okay, how are you going to get out there? So what is your marketing strategy to a certain degree? And it doesn't have to be that you have to spend a lot of money at first, it can be, there's so many incredible platforms that are free actually, isn't there? Like some of the brilliant questionnaire platforms which you can send out and do a little bit of market research. I think that was a huge lesson for me when I was diving into doing different kinds of businesses, is not always questioning what my client or customer would want. So I was creating these things with no real idea of whether it was going to sell, which in hindsight now is a little bit like, well, that's a bit silly, but you're just all the guns blazing, and you're very passionate about what it is that you want to do and what you want to achieve and what you want to build. And I think that is one of the most kind of crucial points actually for people that are listening. You need to find out what your client or customer wants, and at this moment when you're about to sell it, because what might happen is you might spend months, sometimes years, creating something incredible, and either the moment has passed and it's not quite relevant anymore, or it needs a lot of shifting. So I would say, I don't know if you agree here, but not to waste too much time or money developing. Ask what the client customer wants first. Use your own skills and talents and abilities, and then sell the product or service, and then create. What would you say about that?
I always say that you should sell before you create. So it's always a case of pre-selling everything.
Yeah.
So before you make a single thing, sell it.
Yeah. Does it sell? And if it doesn't, you know.
And it's also a case of remembering that you've got to sell people what they want and then give them what they need. Generally, it's very rare that they know what they need, they know what they want. Right. And so you've always got to make sure that you're approaching it and you're selling it in a way that it's about what they want. What you give them is, of course, could potentially be completely different, because it's obviously you're going to give them what they need to get the result that they're looking for.
Yeah.
But if you try to sell them on what they need, very often it's just not going to work, because they don't even know that they need it.
Yeah, exactly.
So you've got to focus in on what they want, but you should always sell before you create anything.
Yeah, so almost always kind of working from result backwards in a way, best way to go. So please tell me, I would love to know, what are your 3 top tips for inspiring entrepreneurs? Obviously those tips were awesome, but let's say that there is a woman who is maybe in a career at the moment who is going, okay, I'm going to start my own business. Where would they start? Obviously those 3 things, really important. But what else do you think? I think one thing for me might be mindset. It's huge. It's like, do I believe in myself enough to make this happen? Yeah, but what's your opinion? What's your
thing? We all have wobbles and things where mindset is concerned. I mean, even when you're at the ridiculous heights of success, you always have those kind of elements of being a human where you'll question and you'll doubt and things. And I think that's one of the things that, when it comes to mindset, we've all got to start somewhere though.
Yeah.
So mindset's definitely important. You have to understand, who do you need to be, what do you need to think, what kind of habits do you need in your environment, because I know a lot of people don't necessarily have habits that serve them, and so obviously that means that they don't necessarily create and produce at their best level. So mindset's definitely a big one for people.
Excellent.
And if anybody thinks that they can get to where they want to be without looking at their mindset, they're probably going to find themselves running in some cycles that don't serve them.
Yeah, absolutely. What would you say would the other 2 things be that you would say really important for an emerging entrepreneur?
Talk to as many people as possible.
Awesome. Yeah.
There's no good just kind of scrolling. There's no good kind of just keeping everything to yourself. Literally just talk to as many people as possible, and collaborate as well would be my other thing.
Yeah, oh my goodness, it's so huge, isn't it?
Yeah.
Collaboration is, for me, one of the biggest keys to any kind of success, actually. Definitely. So also, what do you think has been your recipe to becoming completely unstoppable in everything that you're doing just now, Jane?
Probably just the fact that I've made everything non-negotiable to the point where it's going to happen regardless. Like I said, we're all humans, so we all have kind of wobbles, but it's being disciplined enough to question those kind of wobbles and the thoughts that you have along with them, and not necessarily take every thought as gospel and things. So I would say for me, it's probably my making things non-negotiable and the discipline that I've kind of taken along with that, particularly with 3 kids as well.
I was going to say, so you've got 3 kids as well. What does a normal day look like for you?
I suppose a normal day depends upon what my schedule is. If I've got client calls, then obviously, I kind of get all them done either during the day or at evening, depending on time zones and things.
Yeah.
I don't work every day of the week, so a Friday is a complete family day. Very rarely do I work on weekends.
Yep.
So, but like a Monday is an admin day generally, and then the other days kind of flip between, client calls, stuff that, interviews and things, and just general kind of business work, I suppose.
Do you have a kind of morning ritual or anything like that? Because obviously when you are on calls, when you are on interviews and things like that, you're having to function at a really high level. Your energy and your heart and your head space is to its capacity. So do you have anything that you do to prep every morning, or in the evening do you have some sort of rituals or anything like that?
I tend to obviously, in the morning journal, kind of, music, things like that.
Yeah.
I tend to find that having kind of needs taken care of through the day. So it's not just a case of having needs where you just kind of survive, but they're the ones that help you thrive. So if I know maybe I'm going to go on a client call, I might maybe drink some more water or get myself into the right kind of space.
Yes.
And whether that's through music or going out for a walk every single day is important for me, to make sure that I'm fulfilled creativity-wise.
Yeah, of course.
But, and then in the evening then, it tends to be more along the lines of gratitude, visualisation, and making sure I don't watch the TV before bed.
I know, because it keeps your brain awake, doesn't it? Tell me, what is the part of your business that completely lights you up? What is the part that you're like, I could do this all day, all night for the rest of my life? What would you say?
Probably just talking to people in my community,
Yeah.
or my clients. One of those two things. Talking, I suppose, would be the thing.
Talking. I love it though. I love it because you have so much knowledge and so much expertise, and it's such a privileged position being able to give that back to people and then help them on their journeys, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, I think
awesome.
it's a privilege to be involved in their life in some way, and help them kind of tick those goals off for themselves.
Yeah, excellent, amazing. So tell me, what is actually next for you? What are your plans for the rest of this year, and maybe even into next year?
So I've got quite a bit going on at the moment.
Amazing, tell us.
I launched a magazine recently, so
Excellent.
issue 2 of that will be out shortly.
Amazing.
It's a monthly magazine, so obviously that's an ongoing thing.
Fab, what's that called?
Rise magazine.
Rise, brilliant, excellent.
I signed with a publisher, so that means I'm having to write a book.
Yes.
So I've got that going out.
Wonderful.
We recently got approached to produce some YouTube videos for a TV company.
Amazing.
So there's that. Got lots of TV interviews going on.
Awesome.
And in-person events. So it's a busy year actually.
A busy year. Massive growth.
Yeah.
Yeah. And do you have, because I'm quite nosy, a financial goal this year? Or is it just
so
more about...
I want to be doing at least kind of 7 figures for this year.
Yeah.
As a complete kind of total.
Yeah.
That's the end goal aim for this
High
year.
five. I'm with you on that one. 7 figures.
Yeah.
Let's go. Let's rock it. Amazing. Okay, so it's been an absolute pleasure speaking to you. Thank you so much. But we have got one more thing that we do here on Unstoppable TV, and it's fact or forfeit. You in?
Yeah.
Amazing. So you have got 30 seconds to answer some of these questions, and Fabiano is going to come up with the forfeit. But I am so sure that you're going to nail these 100%. So let us bring up the timer. Ready, set, go. Your fave entrepreneur.
Gary Vaynerchuk.
Ah, love. A day off looks like?
Candles, bath, and just kind of chocolate and kids.
Bliss, absolute bliss. Most inspiring quote?
Worrying is like walking around with an umbrella waiting for it to rain.
Beautiful. Finish this lyric. This girl is on?
Fire.
Ah, yes. Awesome. Book or movie?
Movie.
Yeah, love. So, done it. Smashed it. Out the park. Less than 30 seconds. Well done. Thank you so much. Can you please tell us where we can find you?
Yes, so I've got a website, janewillmott.com.
Amazing.
Otherwise, there's the Facebook page, Instagram, same kind of handle, just Jane Willmott. Or you can find me hanging about in my Facebook group. It tends to be where I spend a large chunk of my time, although I have 2 of them. So if you're a coach, then I've got the Coaches and Experts It's Time to Rise group.
Awesome, perfect.
Whereas for everybody else, there's the Impactpreneur Lounge.
Oh, I love that name, Impactpreneur Lounge. Excellent. So thank you again for coming here today.
Thank you for having
all the
me.
way from Wales?
Yeah.
Beautiful Wales, beautiful accent as well. Thank you again. And thank you so much for watching, guys, out there. So remember that you can find out more about Unstoppable TV and what we do just by clicking the link below. There's lots of freebies there that you can download and use within your life and business. Thank you so much for watching. Take care. Bye.